Directions for your sunset landscape. Remember your name and teacher code. Start by tracing a circle in the top half of your paper. Trace very, very carefully. To start painting your sun, you're just going to use plain yellow. Very, very carefully add a little bit of an outline next to the pencil line that's on your paper. And then carefully paint inside of that circle. It's best to kind of create an outline where your pencil line is first, and this keeps your sun in a round shape. Remember to pick up your brush when you're painting, not go back and forth. Really take your time, and don't forget to outline around your circle first before you paint it all in. Then we'll start adding our rings around our sun. You're just going to use a very teeny tiny bit of red to begin, and you're going to stir that into some plain yellow. Make sure you take turns mixing at your table. There should be 2 or 3 people sharing an egg carton. Very gently stir, and then you're going to carefully go ahead and add an outline around your yellow sun that you have there. To get the wide line, gently press your brush down until it is flat. Make sure before you move to the next ring that everyone that's sharing your paint is finished with that color before you change it. Really take your time on this so it stays looking like a circle. Remember, it's important not to change the color by mixing again until everyone that's sharing the egg carton has finished. Then when you're ready, you need to add probably 2 or 3 more rings around your yellow sun. So you're going to repeat the same process where you dip into the red and you add more red to your orange. Gently stir. And every time that you add more red, your orange is going to get a little bit darker and a little bit more red-orange. You can test it if you need to before you add your entire ring. And keep going nice and slow. Try not to paint on the ring that's already on your paper. So here I have 2 rings, and I go ahead and try and add a couple more. Same exact process. Every time you just add a little bit more red until eventually you end up just using plain red. And you can see here I have 4 rings around my yellow sun. Then carefully grab a large piece of cardboard and add it to the drying rack. Next, we'll paint our sky blue all around our sun. When you're painting next to your sun, it's so important that you go nice and slow and try to avoid painting on your sun if possible. Really slow, and you're going with the direction of the sun. So you're going in that kind of round circular shape with your brush, nice and slow. Don't forget to make nice big brush strokes and pick up your brush every time. When you're going back and forth, you're picking up your brush just slightly so you have nice smooth paint lines. Then very carefully take a large piece of cardboard and you're going to slide it underneath your very wet painting, very carefully, and carry it to the drying rack. Make sure when you put it on the drying rack that you put it the correct direction. You do not want it hanging off over top of other people's projects. So turn it the correct direction so that it can dry without bumping someone else's work. When everything's dry, we're going to add the ground, and you're going to measure with your hand about a hand's amount of space from the bottom of your paper. You're going to stamp across where your horizon line will be. This is the line where it looks like the sky and the ground are touching. All the way across. Don't add too much paint. It's a good idea to kind of scrape off the edge of your sponge so you don't end up with too much, and gently add your line across. If it's a little bit wavy, that's okay. If you want to kind of create some hills and dips, that's totally fine too. Make sure that you are stamping your sponge or gently patting it and not smearing it so you don't get the paint that's already on your paper wet again. And stamp so close together that you are hiding the square or rectangle shape that your sponge creates. Keep going with your gentle patting and stamping until all of your ground is painted in. You should have nice fluffy grass or snow. Next, using a piece of cardboard, you're going to add your trees. Start by adding the trunk with the long side of the cardboard. Gently pat it in your paint. And then when you stamp, be gentle so you don't squash your cardboard. And it doesn't have to go quite to the top of your paper unless you want it to. And you can have them start at different spots so it looks like some trees are taller, shorter, or closer or farther away. Then turn your cardboard and use the short side for the branches. And you're going to create kind of like a letter Y shape. So when you add those short branches, they should be pointing kind of up and outward. Keep going and fill up all of your tree trunks with Y shapes going kind of different directions. They can go off the edge of your paper if you choose. It's really up to you. And if they overlap a little bit, that's fine too. Then as an added final touch, add some snowflakes with a cotton swab. Or if you're doing the warm version, you would be adding leaves and flowers instead of snowflakes. If you're doing the warm landscape instead, then you'd add the grass and the trees exactly the same way. The only thing that's really different is instead of adding snowflakes, you'll add leaves to your trees. And if you choose later, you can even add some small little flower blossoms as well.